Hello, dear aspirants. This is Shahzaib Chandio again in a Gender Studies lecture series for CSS and PMS. In this lecture, we shall discuss the scope of gender studies in Pakistan, its history, and its scope in different aspects of Pakistani society. We begin with the introduction to scope of gender studies in Pakistan. So, gender studies in Pakistan has evolved significantly over the past few decades, reflecting the country's socio-political dynamics, religious influences, and cultural norms. Second, its scope can be gauged from academic, political, media, literature, and institutional aspects. So, in this particular lecture, we shall discuss the different aspects of the scope of gender studies in Pakistan. So, first of all, we are going to discuss the history and growth of gender studies in Pakistan. We begin with the history of gender studies. We shall discuss the early development of gender studies in 1970s to 1980s. So gender studies as an academic discipline began to take shape in Pakistan in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Second, this was a period of significant political and social upheaval with the regime of General Ziaul Haq and its martial law started from 1977 to 1988, enforcing the Islamization policies that deeply impacted the Pakistani society. The second historical aspect of the scope of the gender studies in Pakistan is the emergence of Women Action Forum. The Women's Action Forum, established in 1981, emerged as a crucial platform for advocating women's rights, particularly against the Hudud Ordinance, which were seen as a discriminatory against women. The activism and scholarly work during this time laid the groundwork for the academic study of gender studies in Pakistan. So WAIF was an important and significant milestone in the scope of gender studies. The third important aspect with regard to the history of gender studies is institutionalization of gender studies as a subject. Gender studies was institutionalized during 1980s and 90s. The 90s witnessed the formal establishment of gender studies as an academic discipline in Pakistan. This period coincided with the global rise of feminist movements and increased the awareness about gender issues, not only in the world but also in Pakistani society as well. The first Women Studies Department was established at the University of Karachi in 1996, marking a significant milestone. This department aimed to promote research and education on women's issues, and its creation was a direct response to the growing awareness of the need for a gender-sensitive academic framework. So this was a milestone in the academic development of gender studies in Pakistan. And now we are going to discuss the expansion and growth of gender studies from 2000 to present. So the year of 2000 saw a gradual expansion of gender studies programs across various universities in Pakistan from 2000 to 2010. So this growth was accompanied by increased research output focusing on diverse issues such as women's rights, gender-based violence, the intersectionality of gender with class and ethnicity, and the role of religion in shaping gender norms. So the Center of Excellence at Quaid-e-Azam University, that was a significant milestone and significant breakthrough in promotion of gender studies as a subject, that was established in 2000 and has become one of the leading institutes in Pakistan for gender related research and education. The center offering a range of academic programs including MPhil and PhD degrees, and conducts research on gender issues within Pakistani context. And now we are going to discuss the scope of gender studies in detail in our subsequent paragraphs and headings. We shall discuss it in length. So first of all, we are going to discuss the academic scope of gender studies in our headings. The gender studies in Pakistan encompasses a wide range of academic activities, including teaching, research, and public scholarship. The scope extends beyond traditional women's issues to include broader questions of gender identity, masculinity, and the impact of socio-economic and cultural factors on gender relations. So apart from that, the academic sphere of gender studies is widely expanding. So research topics in Pakistani universities include studies on transgender rights, and in this regard a bill has also been passed by Pakistan in 2018 that became the controversial. The impact of patriarchal structures on men's mental health, and the role of media in shaping gender stereotypes. So this is the academic importance of gender studies in various institutes. The another scope of gender studies is policy advocacy and development. Academics and graduates from gender studies programs often engage in policy advocacy, working with governmental and non-governmental organizations to promote gender equality. The contribution of gender scholars to the formulation of Punjab Protection of Women Against Violence Act 2016 is a testament to the impact of gender studies on policy. Third, the legislations which provides legal protections to women from domestic violence was informed by the research and policy. The another aspect and the scope of gender studies is intersection with other disciplines in Pakistan. Gender studies in Pakistan is inherently interdisciplinary, intersecting with sociology, anthropology, law, political science, and religious studies. Apart from that, this intersectionality allows for a comprehensive understanding of how gender interacts with other social categories like class, ethnicity, and religion. The courses on gender and development examines how economic policies and development programs affect women and men in Pakistani society. So, going to discuss the public discourse and media. The gender studies has also influenced public discourse and media in Pakistan. Scholars and activists frequently engage with media outlets to discuss gender issues, contributing to a growing public awareness and dialogue around topics like women's empowerment, gender-based violence, and LGBTQ rights. The television talk shows, newspaper columns, social media platforms often, feature discussions led by gender experts on various gender, issues in Pakistan. So now discussing the mushroom in feminist writers and activists and their emergence as a significant milestone in broadening the scope of gender studies in Pakistan. So beginning with Robina Sehgal, she was born in 1958 and died in 2021. The Robina Sehgal was a leading feminist theorist in Pakistan, and her scholarly work focused on issues such as gender, nationalism, education, and the state. She authored Feminism and Women's Movement in Pakistan, Actors, Debates, and Strategies. This book is a comprehensive analysis of the feminist movement in Pakistan, detailing its history, challenges, and the diverse strategies employed by the activists to promote gender equality. The second proponent is Asma Jahangir. She was born in 1952 and died in 2018. Asma Jahangir was a prominent human rights lawyer and co-author of the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan. Jahangir was a fearless defender of women's rights, particularly in the face of discriminatory laws like Hudud ordinances. She took on high-profile cases involving honor killing, blasphemy accusations, and forced marriages, often at great personal risk. And she was one of the leading lawyers in Pakistan. So Kishwar Nahid, she was born in 1940 and is still alive. Kishwar Nahid is a celebrated Urdu poet and writer known for her feminist themes and activism. Her works such as Labe Goya and Buri Aurat Ki Kahani, the story of a bad woman, challenge traditional gender roles and advocate for women empowerment. So these two books written by the Kishwar Nahid are significant books in the history and scope of gender studies in Pakistan. So now discussing the Hina Jilani. She was born in 1953 and she's alive. And Jilani co-founded Pakistan's first all-women law firm and first legal aid center in 1980. She has represented numerous women in landmark cases involving honor killings, domestic violence, and sexual harassment. So she had been a key defender of women's rights in Pakistan and the promotion of gender equality in the country. So Fahmida Riaz is another proponent of gender studies, and she has been a literary figure in Pakistan. She was a renowned poet, writer, and activist whose work addressed issues of gender equality, social justice. Her collections such as Badan Burida, The Torn Body, are celebrated for their bold expression of women's experiences in Pakistan. So Badan Burida is a Persian word. It's used for torn body and the violence against women. And now discussing the key challenges to gender studies in Pakistan. So challenges which are hindering the scope of gender studies. So gender studies in Pakistan faces significant challenges, including societal resistance, political instability, and limited resources. The conservative segments of society often view gender studies with suspicion, perceiving it as a Western agenda. Moreover, the interdisciplinary nature of field sometimes leads to a lack of cohesion in academic programs. So these are the key challenges. And apart from that, there are some other challenges. The third one is the backlash against the Aurat March, an annual women's rights demonstration, reflects the deep-seated resistance to gender equality initiatives in some segments of Pakistani society, especially in urban areas and rural areas as well. The gender studies scholars often have to navigate this challenging environment while protecting their work, discouraging employment and opportunities and financial opportunities to women. Now we are going to discuss the future direction. So what should be the future direction of gender studies? In future direction, there is a growing need for gender studies in Pakistan to expand its focus to include more diverse gender identities and issues beyond the binary gender framework. There is also a need for increased collaboration between academic institutions, NGOs, and government bodies to translate research into effective policy changes. So this trinity of collaborations can boost the gender rights and equality in Pakistan. So concluding the lecture on scope of gender studies, so gender studies in Pakistan has come a long way from its nascent beginnings in the late 20th century. It has established itself as a vital field of academic inquiry and activism, contributing to the understanding and advancement of gender equality in the country. As the discipline continues to grow, it is poised to play an even more significant role in shaping the more inclusive and equitable Pakistani society. So this is all about the scope of gender studies. So you can like and subscribe for more lectures on gender studies ahead.